Today, computers are everywhere. They're in your homes, in your fridge, and even in your pocket.
But how do they work?
Computers work in bits. A bit is a switch. If it's on, it's represented by a 1. If not, a 0. The computer reads these zeros and ones and uses them to store and calculate information. In the physical world, these zeros and ones can be represented by a sudden change of electrical current, voltage, light intensity, or even the spin of an electron. This binary information can come together to solve complex problems.
But what is code?
Coding is the ability to manipulate this binary info. We cannot expect everyone to actually use zeros and ones, so programming languages were created. A programming language is language written and read by humans in English that is executed by a computer in zeros and ones. This allows us to easily understand and create binary code. This is a computer programming.
We have this image in our brains of computer programmers being these pimple-ridden teenage boys with huge glasses, sitting in the basement with a huge computer coding all night with a bottle of Mountain Dew. So that's not really correct, is it?
No, computers programmers usually work in groups of 10 and work as a group. In fact, anyone can be a computer programmer.
You don't have to be a genius to know how to code. You need to be determined.
How did many of the world's best computer programmers get their start?
I was 13 when I first got access to a computer.
My parents bought me a Macintosh in 1984 when I was 8 years old.
I was in 6th grade.
I learned to code in college.
Freshman year, first semester, intro to computer science.
I wrote a program to play tic-tac-toe.
I think it was pretty humble beginnings. I think the first program I wrote asked things like, what's your favorite color? Or how old are you?
I first learned how to make a green circle and a red square appear on the screen.
The first time I actually had something come up and say, hello world, and I made a computer do that. It was just astonishing.
But what does a computer programmer actually do?
They solve complex problems and create programs that help make our daily lives easier.
How smart do I need to be a computer scientist?
Science fiction movies portray computer programming as something reserved for the smartest and brightest. Well, you don't need to be a genius.
All one needs is 4 years of college. Some of the best schools are Carnegie Mellon, Stanford, and the University of Illinois. Also, a programmer needs a certificate in a certain language. In order to receive a certificate for a certain language, one must take a 90-minute test about that language.
What abilities do I need to succeed in the computer science field?
First of all, programmers have a very close attention to detail. Computers are not able to assume things, so every detail must be written perfectly.
Along with that, programmers must be good abstract thinkers, keeping in mind every aspect of the computer's function and compartmentalize certain bits of info.
What does Gabe think?
You're teaching possibly the stupidest thing in the entire universe, a computer, how to do something.
So where do these computer scientists actually work?
Some major cities are New York City, Silicon Valley, Chicago, and Pittsburgh, and the offices are some of the most innovative from around the world.
To get the very best people, we try to make the office as awesome as possible.
We have a fantastic chef,
Free food,
breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
free laundry.
Snacks. Even places to play and video games and scooters. There's all these kind of interesting things around the office and places where people can play or relax or go to think or play music or be creative.
So what fields of expertise does computer science cover?
It covers many fields, from agriculture to medicine.
Computers are everywhere. You want to work in agriculture? Do you want to work in entertainment? Do you want to work in manufacturing? You know, it's just all over.
But are there any physics concepts involved?
As we've mentioned before, computer science includes the study of currents, voltage, and light intensity.
Also, is it true that computer science helps in the study of quantum mechanics?
But what is quantum mechanics, though?
Quantum mechanics is a branch of physics which deals with microscopic scales. Quantum mechanics is extremely important in dealing with microchips.
By 1971, the first microprocessor had shrunk the ENIAC down to this size. By 1980, you'd need this microscope to see it. By 1990, you'd need an electron microscope. Now, we can't afford an electron microscope until we get paid for this Intel gig, but here's what it would look like. In 1971, it wasn't much bigger than this mosquito, less than 1 square centimeter. By 1999, you could fit them into a space the size of a red blood cell, or 1/25,000th of an inch. Today, it's roughly the size of a single spike on one of these bacteria.
Quantum mechanics plays a large role in Moore's law. In effect, it is responsible for Moore's law's end.
Moore's law allows computers to double in speed because of the size of the microchips.
As I understand it, Moore's law dictates that the number of transistors on a chip will double roughly every 24 months.
Now, does that mean that the speed also doubles?
Theoretically.
God, if you double your speed even once, I'd have an easier time staying awake while you were talking.
Yeah. Well, let me give some examples as quickly as I can. In 1949, the ENIAC computer calculated pi to 2,037 digits in 70 hours. Now, the modern laptop can do the same thing in 3.5 seconds.
Once these transistors become so small that they enter the realm of physics dealing with quantum mechanics, the physics changes and the transistors stop working. Current stops flowing normally, and so far as we know, there is no way to continue to make the transistors smaller. This effectively ends Moore's law.
All of these elements help Google in creating a new quantum computer. According to Harbert Nevin, Google's director of engineering, the new quantum computer will, quote, help solve some of the most challenging computer science problems, particularly in machine learning. Machine learning is all about building better models of the world to make more accurate predictions. Suppose, if we want to cure diseases, we need better models of how they develop.
Quantum mechanics helped create a new field of study called quantum informatics.
But what is quantum informatics?
Quantum informatics is an area of study based on the idea that information science depends on quantum effects in physics.
Oxford University professor Samson Abramsky said that quantum informatics has brought new computational possibilities to light, some of which endanger current cryptographic encoding schemes.
This may all seem really complicated. How good does one need to be at math to study computer science?
Well, many colleges make students take courses such as calculus, matrices, statistics, discrete math, 3D geometry, and graph theory. But many of the world's best computer programmers disagree.
A lot of the coding that people do is actually fairly simple. It's more about the process of breaking down problems than, sort of coming up with complicated algorithms as people traditionally think about it.
You don't have to be a genius to know how to code. You need to be determined.
Addition, subtraction, that's about it.
Should probably know your multiplication tables.
Thank you for teaching us so much about computer science.
No problem, Aaron. I'm always available.
Thank you.